I like the music. Oh. Oh, Jesus. Hello, everybody. This is Dr. F. And welcome to another Bendy and the Dark Revival short. This short is going to be about showcasing the archives, which was a thing in the original Bendy and the Ink Machine. However, I'm wondering what interesting facts and beta stuff we will learn here. So, here we go. Archives. Whoopee. Here we go. Yahoo. Oh, just right into it. Oh. Exit. Hey! Oh. The Archives. Welcome to the Archives. Bendy and the Dark... Welcome to the Archives. Bendy and the Dark Revival is filled with numerous characters that each had a critical role to play in the progression of the game. Here in the Archives, you will learn a little bit more about them in an up-close and personal way. Feel free to explore. Aw, God, you're so cute. Oh, Bendy, the iconic imp, was redesigned for Dark Revival to stand out a bit from his traditional cartoon appearance. By giving him a suit of clothes, he posed some minor challenges, specifically creating a face that sported the classic Bendy eerie smile, but still managed to be heartwarming in the right conditions. He is a fan favorite, so his design had to be just right. During production, we originally envisioned Bendy to talk with a series of cute squeaks. There's a thing, there's a rule that I have where the little cute sidekick, like, you know how in Disney, the little cute sidekick should never talk. It should always be like body movement and facial expressions. Here's a perfect example. I've never seen Frozen, but I've seen Tangled, and I've heard a lot of people say they don't like the snowman in Frozen. However, I like the little, what are those lizards called? The little the lizard from Tangled, and also I liked the horse. Both of them relied on facial expressions. But like a Disney, honestly, another thing is Wish, the movie Wish, even though that movie is probably AI. Was he a goat? I think it's a goat. The goat would have been better if he didn't talk. If, like, no cute sidekick should ever talk. That shouldn't be a thing. During a series of cute squeaks to contrast the dark, low voice of the Ink Demon, but this turned out to be very distracting, and the idea was scrapped pretty early on. It is distracting. Okay, I like the music. Oh. Oh, Jesus. Okay, oh, wow. Alright, let's take a look. Oh. Audrey, cartoon. Audrey is a kind-hearted rogue with courage, determination, some flaws, and a deep, dark past. To make our story work, we needed a newcomer to the cartoon studio world, and Audrey was a perfect, fresh eyes to help the experience. The adventure. From day one to production, we knew that if people didn't connect with Audrey by the end of the game itself wouldn't be successful. Fortunately, she turned out to be quite memorable indeed, and stands out from the other members of the cast. Wilson. Good God, Wilson, you are like an absolute treat. Wilson cartoon. Wilson was a difficult character to balance. At first, the players are purposely led to believe he is a one-note character, obviously evil with an over-the-top villain personality, but as the story progresses, we see other sides of the character, and the player becomes muddled with who this man really is. In one draft, Wilson was written as a servant of Nathan Arch Jr., a separate character at the time, but the story made more sense when the two characters become one, eliminating a lot of needless narrative complexity. Jesus. Oh. Well, they're dead. The Ink Demon. As the world of Dark Revival became more complex and established, we realized the Ink Demon's design needed a complete rethink to match our new tone. Previous versions of his appearance looked absolutely silly when placed in the world alongside the other characters. No amount of creepy music or screen effects could conceal how out of place he looked. The Ink Demon needed to look different than everything else in the world and show a natural progression. The Ink Demon's evolution as Wilson held the cycle in place. I kind of figured this out. That the reason why that the Ink Demon looks very different than he did in the original Bendy was because Wilson kept the cycle going, and also because he was torturing. I read a comment on another like a separate video that like Bendy or the Ink Demon was like half of him was the good side Bendy. Of the character Bendy, and then the other half was an actual ink demon. That's what I read. Anyway, Beast Bendy. Returning for the climax of Dark Revival, Beast Bendy also was revisited with the mindset of making him far more powerful and beast-like. Traditionally, in most horror games, they tend to build to a point where the main villain becomes a final form monster as a final boss. It's practically a trope. Our idea, what if you got to play as that final form instead? That is brilliant. I love that. But yeah, if they ever make, I'm gonna be honest, if they ever make a remake of Bendy and the Ink Machine, I like the little legs though. Alright, maybe we should fix the little legs. Okay, if I were to remake Bendy and the Ink Machine, obviously I wouldn't use this design. But I would use. I think I heard rumors that they were gonna, like, thinking on remodeling the original or something. I'm not sure. Anyway, the Ink Machine, designed by Thomas Connor of the Gent Corporation, stolen by Joey Drew, retrieved by Archgate, and once again reclaimed by Gent. The Ink Machine's next adventure is a mystery. Oh boy. You still have the chains from above. Is there? Yep, still a sign that says ink. There's a projector back here. Is this the projectionist? Didn't the projectionist have... I don't think the projectionist had a booth in the original archives, did he? I don't remember. Anyway, let's go this way. Actually. Oh, Harold. Too much dry air, not enough fish food. Wait, does it say something else over here? Anything? What are you? Oh. Ooh. The Keepers, Wilson's deadly guards and scientists. Oh, they're scientists too. Interesting. They aren't perfect, but the Keepers will get the job done, no matter the cost. They're responsible for pressing the Ink Demon inside a smaller form, keeping his power sealed away, until Audrey came along and unknowingly changed the situation. The Keepers were visually designed to reflect the dangers and evils of the Ink Machine itself, faceless beings made of gears and wires, with no sense of morality, ordered around like cattle, creation living without purpose. I wish there was more of you. I wish there was less of you. I wish there was less of you. We'll get to you in a bit. Oh, it's all... Okay, I wish there was more of these three. I feel like these three didn't really get the spotlight. They were just like, okay. The Butcher Gang. Barely, Charlie, and Edgar. Was that their names? Oh, is that their actual names? Huh. Barely, Charlie, and Edgar, the three original members of the Butcher Gang, were formed from the Ink Machine, deconstructed by Alice Angel for body parts, and bond together to stay alive with sneak attacks on their prey. In Dark Revival, we meet an artificial fourth member of the gang, Carly, the Ghost Girl. Although when you begin to examine her closely, Carly appears to be a shell with perhaps someone inside. Perhaps. Deconstructed by Alice Angel. I didn't know that. I guess we do see them. Like multiple versions of themselves. I know that's the Fisher, Piper. I forgot what this one's called. I forgot what this one's called. Liar. I don't know. I wish we would have seen. Ugh. I don't know, something about a mouth on top of someone's head is creepy. Ugh. Don't like you whatsoever. Alright. I like the music. Ah, fan favorite. Sammy Lowe. Wow. They actually gave you a body. Sammy Lawrence, the famous music composer of the studio, Sammy Lawrence, originally had a slightly larger role in the story of Dark Revival, but in a story already filled with so many characters, making them all play a meaningful part became a challenge. That makes sense. He was ultimately sidelined in favor of telling a more coherent storyline. Smart. Although it is interesting to note that Sammy Lawrence appears to have mastered the flow ability in Bendy and the Ink Machine long before Porter and Audrey could wield it. Wait, although he's master flow. That's why he disappears. Oh, that makes so much sense. I didn't think about that. That's why he just like pops up in random places, like in at the end of chapter 2. That's how he's able to whack Henry on the head, even if Henry's spinning around in circles looking for him. Because he used the flow. That's actually pretty cool. Man, okay, that's one thing. You know what? I have another idea. Fix Sammy Lawrence's fight in chapter 5 by having him use the flow. Like, okay, here's how I would do it. If I were to fix the Sammy Lawrence fight in chapter 5, have him swing wildly with the axe like normal. However, have him so that he flows right behind you so he can attack you from behind, because that would actually make the Sammy Lawrence fight a lot better in my opinion. Or he could, another thing, he could flow to the top of one of the buildings, like the old buildings, and then summon like the lost ones to fight you. Maybe not the Searchers. I think the lost ones. He should summon the lost ones, and then he'll flow back down and then fight you some more. But like, that's how I would fix the chapter 5 fight. Instead of just fight him and then fight a whole swarm of Searchers, lost ones, mining Searchers, or headlamp Searchers. Like, I'm just saying. I think that's better. All right. Alice Angel, the self-appointed queen of the studio. Jesus, of course that's what she calls herself. Alice Angel is one of the most memorable faces in the Bendy world. Forever lost in a tide of insanity, she is an absolute delight to write for as a character. An angel with many layers. Time will only tell if this inky temptress will ever reappear. I feel like did I say this before? I don't know. It's kind of weird how her face didn't get fixed at the end of chapter 4 of the original Bendy and the Ink Machine. Amok. Lord Amok, ruler of a sewer cult. Lord Amok illustrates how the world of the Ink had continued to develop into different societies deep within the darkest places. Though he was weak in a fight, his name will simply never die. I'm gonna be honest, I almost forgot about him. Ugh. Oh, I don't even want to. I'll just stand over here. King Widow. Ink widows have begun to infest where the light grows darkest. Their king, the biggest and most feared, will only emerge from his nest when it's young or threatened. That's the thing. I wish we'd have seen more of the little ones, like throughout, because they only appeared once and never again. I don't want to stand behind you. Ship ahoy, Dudley. The determined invention of Wilson, created to serve the deal purpose of dethroning the Ink Demon in the cartoon world, and also upstaging Joey Drew in the eyes of Wilson's father, Nathan Arch. Neither of these happened. Ship ahoy Dudley is a mysterious sailor with his own eerie grin, similar to that of Bendy, along with his sidekick, Crackle the Crab. I didn't even realize he had a crab. Does he have a crab on him? I don't see it. It is unknown just what kind of cartoon adventures they would have had together. Ugh. Lurker. The Lurker, or Steve, as he came to be known, was originally created as a brute-type enemy that would free roam the way Lost Ones do, but ultimately felt unnecessary as the random Ink Demon encounters already fulfilled the role of putting in the player on edge while exploring previous traversed locations. In the end, the Lurker found a much better calling as an unlikely ally, effectively expanding him into more than just a typical enemy. I love Steve. Steve is adorable. Steve is cute. I love Steve. Alright, let's look over here. I think I missed. Oh! I have some questions about you, sir. Joey Drew, memory. The man, the legend, the memory. Creating this version of Joey Drew was both an exciting and daunting process. It was clear from the start that this Joey would be different from the one from the original Bendy and the Ink Machine game. This was a man with all the guilt from a past life, but without the experience to fully understand it. The real Joey Drew made many mistakes, but ultimately learned from them. This doesn't absolve him of his sins, but at the end of his life, he was able to help correct some of them and help fight the darkness he created. This feels very vague. I'm not sure why. Betty, a faithful maid, among other things, to Wilson. Betty was an important character to the story of Dark Revival. As a failed experiment and someone relatively new to the cartoon studio, she was able to give a somewhat different point of view on the state of the world. We have purposefully left it unclear if Betty was in on Wilson's plot to harvest Audrey, or if she was just a bystander. Behind her mask, there are still answers to be found. Interesting. Let's look in the color area. Yes. The actual posters. Audrey's donut. No, you can't have it, Audrey. But I want it! Alright. Nathan Arch Sr. Nathan Arch was everything Joey Drew wasn't. He worked hard, built up from nothing, and never compromised his integrity. Joey had big dreams, but Nathan accomplished his own dreams. He and his wife, Tessa, raised a son with as much love and care as they could, despite Nathan's career pressures. Sadly, his son did not share Nathan's natural talent for business and enterprise. Wow, an actual good farting businessman for once. Jesus. Bendy the demon. Audrey. The unknowing daughter of an animation pioneer. Audrey has blocked out the memory of her past after losing her father, but his role in her life was not over. A talented animator and artist, her skills landed her a job at Archgate. Was it fate that led her to reunite with Joey Drew's machine, the machine of her birth, or was it planned? Wilson, I forgot his human form. He still looks creepy. Haunted by the impossible shadow of Nathan Arch, Wilson sought to achieve something that would make his father proud. By luck, he stumbled upon the ink machine and was able to become the cartoon world's new master. Holding the cycle in place, he continued his experiments that could not fully be realized until the ink demon was purged. However, unnaturally entering to and from the ink realm has taken a toll on Wilson's physical being, slowly robbing him of his health. Okay, yeah, I think I remember reading about that. Yeah. Nothing on the ceiling this time. Cycle breakers. Finally got a podium for himself. Henry Stein, the original cycle breaker. Henry Stein is the ghost of a man who lost his purpose years ago. Henry Stein is the ghost of a man. Once fueled with finding a way to escape the tortures of the ink demon and finding his way home to his wife, Henry is now left with the cold reality of being a recreation of the person he thought he was, saved as a special surprise for fans of the Bendy and the Ink Machine game. Henry was strictly omitted from all public discussion of the character during the entire production, which spanned several years, but Henry returned with a very satisfying face reveal. Interesting. Allison. Returning for another victory over the Ink Demon, Allison is always the voice of reason. A beacon of hope, Allison's design was carefully upgraded from the previous Bendy and the Ink Machine game to maintain her personality, but with more fidelity. The purpose of meeting Allison so early in the campaign was to introduce the player to a familiar face after the main introduction. At the start, Allison was able to serve as the motivating force for Audrey until the true plot kicked in later. No sign for... okay. Tom is Allison's silent protector and the only Boris clone involved in the main story. Where is Boris the Wolf? Rumor has it that during the events of the game, Boris is experiencing a dark survival story of his own. Huh. How interesting. I wonder what that could be. Man, Boris really does seem like a lone wolf, doesn't he? Huh? It's an arrow. Oh. I did not mean to do that. Oh, it's the boar's head. Wait, is there like... I can't pick it up. I don't know. Okay. Alright, so that appears to be it. Wait, there's like no... Wait. There's like no thing for, like, Porter or... Wait, did I look at everything? Hold on. Wait, hold on a minute. Am I sure I looked at everything? There's gotta be something else, right? That can't just be it, right? Is that it? That can't be it. I didn't see everything, did I? Is there any other... Yeah, wait a minute. Where's Porter and Heidi? Why didn't they get a... Oh, there they are. They're right... They're literally right here. Porter. Yeah, I was wondering. Porter. As the cycle was held in place and the influence of the Ink Demon held at bay, the cartoon world was able to grow and advance, creating such characters as Porter, a lost one who came to claim a new identity as an explorer. Porter was written with the knowledge that Dark Revival would feature a far more serious tone than the first game of Bendy and the Ink Machine. Its lighthearted innocence would help the player feel some warmth in this inky world of sorrow. Heidi. It is believed that Heidi has spent some time in the Pits, a prison set up by Wilson and the Keepers. It is unclear why, but mostly likely, she was able to access places she shouldn't have. The experience in the pit changed her, as it does many, reverting her into a childlike state, longing for happiness. Jesus Christ, I didn't even realize that. Alright. So, no, like, lost ones or searchers, I guess? Alright. Yeah, alright, so that's about it. That took longer than expected, but there's a lot of reading. Yes. Alright, so yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed. Yeah. Anyways, thank you everybody for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye!